What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, my sister Dahlia.
What's up?
My friend Dan.
What's going on?
And my brother Derek.
What's up, everybody?
And this week, you guys, we are burdened with glorious purpose as we talk about Loki.
Yeah. Said that multiple times.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about the first episode of the Loki series, which hits Disney Plus this past Wednesday. And we're going to see what everybody thinks. I'll give my short little thoughts on it. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was funny. And it didn't disappoint in that, like, what I expected. I don't think it disappointed.
Okay. For me, it was just okay.
All right.
I don't know. It just didn't really hit home for me. And I was kind of disappointed when they said that we're going full spoilers, right?
Oh, yeah. Spoilers for Loki if you haven't seen it. So, better get your space stones and head on out.
Right. So what he just said. I was just kind of disappointed. They said that the time variant was just another Loki, and I just like, Marvel, how many times are people going to fight each other? And I kind of feel like maybe it's not really Loki.
You didn't know that already, though?
Why would I know that already?
Yeah, that's been kind of common knowledge that the one villain was Loki. I guess I'm not going to spoil it, but we know the actor that is playing the other Loki.
We do?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Okay, well, I know that, and I guess I shouldn't spoil it for you guys. I thought that was common knowledge, so that didn't disappoint me because I already knew. We were dealing with a Loki. It still might change in the future. Like, I feel like the Time Variance Authority itself isn't all that great, and it could do one of those flips where they're the actual villains.
What, like they're the actual villains?
Yeah.
Oh.
In a way. Like, they're not, like, evil plot, but, like, what they're doing isn't.
But didn't we just do that anyways?
Did we?
I just feel like we just did that with, like, WandaVision, right? Sword really wasn't on the up and up.
Okay.
But it wasn't that Sword wasn't on the up and up. It was the guy.
Yeah, but were they following his orders? So then it's like the whole thing wasn't on the up and up.
Yeah.
I guess maybe. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, I just feel like I would feel better if TVA didn't end up being like an evil organization.
Okay. That might not be.
They're good, and you just want them to stay good?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because I just feel like, in the end, that's not surprising anymore if we keep doing it.
Well, I mean,
they seem like jerks. They seem like jerks, dude.
Yeah, I was like, they're not really villains, and I don't mean to say like they're villains.
But they are jerks.
It's just by the end of it.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that.
Okay. All right, you're cool.
I guess I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So,
the ticket line. I'm like, that scene was funny though.
There was a lot of funny scenes. But all right, so Dahlia, you didn't like that's another.
I don't know. It just, I wasn't feeling it.
Okay. All right.
Oops, sorry, I had to chew it eventually. It's gonna happen. But but yeah, I mean, I liked it. It was I was entertained by it. Like I said, it was not, kind of what I expected. But like I said, it was the first episode. I felt like they was just trying to break us in, give us a little synopsis, if you will, about what everything was gonna be about. So I dig it in that respect.
All right, cool.
I would agree. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I feel like it has met my expectations so far with the first episode.
All right, so everybody gave their little thoughts on it. So I guess we could talk about it. This picks up right after Endgame, or not after, right after the scene in Endgame
where he escapes.
Yeah, where he escaped. So it just picks up right there, and he immediately gets picked up by the Time Variance Authority. I think the scene where he lands in the Mongolian desert tells you a lot about Loki. Like, just that one scene.
Because he immediately was like, oh, I'm about to be these people's rulers. Like,
yes.
Bruh.
Didn't even speak that language.
It's like he just got defeated. He lands there, finds people, finds a rock to walk up and stand on so he could be higher than them. And then he's like, I am burdened with glorious purpose. So I'm like, what's with this guy? So,
That's his thing, man. That's what he wants.
Yeah,
Crazy.
he definitely has a need to feel accepted, I guess. It's what his...
Yeah.
Or respected or feared or
Yeah.
does he want to be feared?
Is
Or
it
just-
maybe in like a kind of a like kingly powerful way, you know what I mean? Where people like fear his power or what he could do. It's
Yeah,
definitely
that's what I
like
was- That's what I was thinking.
I feel like this episode revealed his insecurities about himself and
Yeah.
like why he has such a desire to be in charge and to rule over others.
Yeah, and that is part of what I liked about this episode too. I mean, not like, oh, I like this episode because of this, but I thought it was good because you had some more of that character growth. And I think the Disney Marvel shows definitely do a good job at that. If they don't do anything, which they do a lot more, but they definitely do a good job at furthering that character growth. Like WandaVision, definitely for Wanda, like the character growth there. Falcon and Winter Soldier too, for both Bucky and Sam. And in this, you can see how they're starting to build upon Loki. So I think, at the very least, we got some good character writers. You know?
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree. And I was going to say, like what you said, like all the shows build on the characters, which is great because I feel like even for like the movies that we've had, the characters were, you know, that growth was good. But to be able to dive deeper into like what makes them who they are,
Yeah.
I like that even better. And so for Loki, you could see like, you know, he just kind of screwed up.
The one-on-one time is definitely crucial when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got all the other heroes there, especially like more important heroes and more popular heroes. Of course, they're gonna spend more time on them.
Yeah.
Now it's like this is Loki's show, so we got to focus on Loki. But people love Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think everybody's been wondering a little bit more about his backstory. So now we're about to get it. So.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a bad choice to make a show about that character.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
All right, so once he gets picked up, oh my goodness, that slow-mo scene with him being
Oh,
slapped.
that wasn't cool. That was not cool.
He got slapped by the baton and she slowed him down.
Yeah, but he just but he feels all the pain.
Yeah.
in real
Yeah.
time. So like, it just elongates how long he's gonna feel that pain.
I know
right?
that's messed up.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah.
That ain't cool.
That's not cool.
That's a form of torture, isn't it? That's torture.
It's like I feel like she didn't have to do that. Like you
Oh,
didn't have to slow
no.
him down.
She did that. She definitely knew what she was doing when she did that.
Yeah.
Well,
She-
it's
no,
because he said, like, basically, like, y'all are not going to do nothing coming. And she was just like, oh, really? Okay, watch this.
So she just had to
I had to slap him.
do that overkill.
Sometimes you just gotta slap a
You
person.
didn't. She didn't respect that authority.
He didn't even try to block it though. Like, you could have tried to block it in real time.
Oh, that was pretty
He
quick.
didn't
though.
see. He didn't see.
see that coming.
He didn't see that coming.
She was
I
just
don't
like,
think. I don't
"Ow."
think he's used to people just like hitting him.
So
Yeah, and it could have also been like he didn't think it was gonna hurt because, like he was saying throughout the show, he like, I am a god. Like, y'all gonna respect me, and it's just like,
But
dude.
before
nah.
that moment, the last time you said "I am a god," you didn't get to finish the sentence, and you got slammed around like a ragdoll. Like, wouldn't that be on your mind?
But see, that was the Hawk, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he looking. I mean, think about it. He's looking at like this woman, and he's like, "Oh, I can definitely rule over you. You're just a regular old person."
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I can see that.
Yeah.
I still would have tried to, like, even if it, like somebody's. I don't want to be hit.
He didn't see it. I'm telling you, he didn't see it coming. He was not.
Okay.
He didn't see it coming.
It was quick. It was quick.
It was-
I
it
blinked
was
and
quick.
I didn't even know what happened. I'm like,
Yeah.
why is he moving this slow? Oh, she hit him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you
So, then it gives us some insight on what the Time Variance Authority does. So, obviously, him escaping created a branch timeline. This actually solidifies some stuff for Endgame. It's kind of what the Ancient One was explaining to the Hulk. Like, the changes make a separate timeline. So when they travel back to 2012, technically they were making a separate timeline until they returned the Infinity Stones back to where they were. And so since Loki left, and that's just a hole in what the sacred timeline is supposed to be, it created a branch timeline, and the TVA just comes and snips them off, basically. Is the deal with that. So, questions about Endgame with that, right?
Okay.
So, you had Loki, right? Okay. Cap still makes a separate timeline, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, when he put the stones back in
when he stayed.
He stayed.
Oh, yeah.
He stayed.
So, him being young in the past creates a separate timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ryan, the TVA all up in that?
I have a theory.
Okay.
Anybody else got a theory before I explain mine? No.
No, you don't.
No, I just did. They
No.
With a little burning stick.
So I figured since they know the whole timeline, right? They know that he comes back to the original timeline as old Cap. So maybe they just were being nice and was like, "Look, he's going to return. Let's let him live his life," and then they clip that branch after he left.
So they kill old man Cap?
No. Old man Cap went back to the right timeline. He at the end of Endgame, he went back to the right timeline.
So you're saying they let it play out until he turns old?
Until he went back, and then they clipped it.
So he remembers it, but once they clip it, it's like it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Yeah,
because we saw them
put the reset charge down or whatever, and it was like it was erasing the everything.
So so they waited like 120 years just so he can be happy. I would like to think they let him get his dance with Peggy. Then they just come in and be like, "Okay, sorry,"
and they just took him.
Look, hey, you got your dance you wanted, and
but they couldn't take him then, because then old man Cap wouldn't be sitting on the bench right there.
Or maybe not that they let him. Maybe they had to because they needed him to come back and give the shield to Sam. Like maybe that is solidified in the timeline, and they need that to happen.
Yeah, I could see that. I
mean, that makes sense. I'm thinking this is another thing that Marvel forgot about.
Yeah.
And like you're just giving him a way out.
So yeah, I don't think like the Loki or the Endgame writers, like they obviously wanted to create a Loki TV show. I think they knew that, and that's why they put the Tesseract thing in. But I don't think they thought like, oh, so we're gonna have the TVA and this is gonna explain that. I feel like the Loki writers went with what happened in Endgame, and then they're like, okay, so how can we explain things? I think generally that's how the MCU works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they didn't have all this planned out at the beginning, so
Well, not completely, at least. No, I mean, there's probably a general idea.
I mean, there's no way that you will know.
Yeah, no, I mean, they didn't know, but obviously when you do these things, you end up with gaps in your story.
Yeah, but
that's the problem with creating a continuous universe.
You gotta admit, Marvel does a good job.
They do, they do.
They do a good, like, there are some gaps, but they do a good job of keeping that story tight. Like,
okay, well, we'll see them explain this Captain America. I had issues with it in Endgame.
I feel like this fixes it a little bit.
That's your theory. We don't know if it's true.
They're never going to explain it, so we might as well just imagine what we think is true.
They're not likely to come out and explain that,
so. No, they will, because people are going to ask.
Okay.
Yeah. Are they going to get answers?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's people out there that's like study every frame by frame and every little thing. There's definitely questions.
Nothing better to do than dissect the movie by the frame. Like, come on, guys. Like, just it's a movie. It's not meant to be really real.
Well, you do it for the YouTube views.
Yes.
So there is a second season of Loki. Right.
Well, that is the rumor. That is what Clark Gregg said. Which I'm like,
Gregg said it.
How would you know?
Clark Gregg said that?
He's in it.
Oh, Clarky.
Yeah, no, but he's not in it. So I'm like, how will he know?
Maybe he's in it.
I got some connection.
I mean, did he still talk to Feige like that? I mean, he was only in like 3 movies.
I mean, yeah, but you know how Marvel they like to keep their people.
Okay. Well, anyways. So rumor has it is yes, there will be a second season, and he kind of confirmed that it was, but I don't think they have said officially or not if it's definitely 2 seasons.
Okay. Well, if there is, I mean, the first or second season, they have opportunity to explain some stuff. I mean, whenever you have a time travel TV show, they can go back and do anything, right? So that's the deal.
Possibilities are endless.
Yeah. So
But being late for work.
yeah, we were gonna get to that. So he gets to the TVA.
I didn't get that one. Okay, go ahead.
He gets to the TVA and they explain like what's happening. So apparently, at the moment, there's only one universe and one timeline, and any variance to what they deem the sacred timeline, they clip off. And yeah, like Dan mentioned, it was like you could be late for work and that creates a separate timeline. Like you were supposed to be on time.
And now I'm in jail.
So the timeline splits to the person that made it on time and the person that made it late, and they take
The person gets taken to jail.
they put him on trial.
Yeah.
I was like, hold on.
Like, you see that traffic jam? Y'all watching everything, right?
It was like, were you not late for work?
I mean, yeah, but
This
you
is
saw
still
why.
late.
I mean, it doesn't all depends on whether or not you being late was a part of the sacred timeline.
Right.
So maybe sometimes you being late is fine.
Okay.
And then that one day where you were just, lollygagging around before you go to work, that's the time where they like come and snatch you up for being late.
Yeah.
That's how that day works.
So I was like, how many people did they disintegrate? That's just like, oh, I just rolled over to the right today instead of to the left, and they're like, nope, separate timeline.
I think they will only do it if it affects something else, right?
Yeah, they said in their little video, they said maybe you clocked in late today.
From the deep country? Like why? What's up with
I feel
that?
like it fits.
Little Miss Patty. I feel like her name was Patty.
Miss Minutes.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it's Miss Minutes.
Miss Minutes.
Yeah,
Isn't that
Miss
Tara
Minutes.
Strong, who does the voice of like
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
Tara Strong.
Yeah, she does the voice of like watch any DC animated anything. She does the voice of someone on there.
Oh wow. Okay.
I feel like if her voice fits, I think it was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, see, that's why I don't like the TVA, because it's just like, and then you put him on trial. I'm like, what are you putting him on trial for? So you clocked in late for work. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? And I'm like, you're going to be standing there like.
I was late, so I guess I'm guilty.
You're always guilty, right? Like, yeah, you're always guilty.
Yeah. Crimes against the
you're always
timeline. Like, anybody knows what they're talking about.
Man, like what are you talking? What? Time
You know
travel?
what?
Is it
I need, and I did like the little cartoon that they put together that kind of explains it. But I need like Marvel on YouTube used to do these TLDRs. I need that on the TVA. Because it explains comic books for you. So I need that.
Yeah, I know. The TVA is like,
Oh, okay.
it's complicated. I mean, a TLDR probably will explain it.
Well, I need them to do that.
Or, I mean, they're going to explain it in the show.
With more cartoons?
Yeah, I
need more
believe
cartoons.
we get more detail on the show.
TLDR? Is that like abbreviation for
Too
toddler?
long, don't read.
Yes, it is definitely abbreviation for toddler.
Yes. A Marvel toddler to tell you how to.
It's too long already.
So. Yeah, like, they put everybody on trial, and it's like, it's extremely unfair. They're like super bureaucratic. It's so unfair. I'm like, I don't understand. And I feel Loki on this first.
Yeah,
he doesn't
call them bureaucrats. Like bureaucrats when they was dragging them away.
And Loki, though, he technically was right when he figured out what was going on, and he was like, well, I suspect the guilty party is the Avengers, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that did the time travel.
But they said no, because they were supposed to time travel.
Yeah, plus they fixed their own variants, right?
Yes.
So
can I get an opportunity to fix my own variant? Can I get that?
do you have the power to time travel?
First of all,
Loki did.
really, is that what Loki was going to do if they gave him the opportunity to
Maybe
fix
not,
it?
But shouldn't I get the opportunity?
Well, technically Loki didn't. He had the
Innocent
Space
until proven
Stone.
guilty?
Space Stone does not allow you to time travel.
So what did he do then? He just
He like
Travel through space.
to another location. It's like a teleporter.
Teleport.
so he didn't deviate the timeline at all then.
Yes,
Well,
he
he
did
did
because
because
he
he
was supposed
wasn't
to go
supposed
to
to
jail.
escape. Yeah.
He was supposed to go to Asgard.
Okay.
Yeah. He was supposed to go to Asgard, get his mother killed.
Every time I see that, I'm like, that's so messed up.
That it is.
Yeah.
But no, what was messed up when he was talking to Mobius, and Mobius is like, your purpose basically is to be the villain, lose, and make other people better. Like,
Yeah.
And when you look at Loki's life in the MCU, it's like, oh yeah, that is basically what he did. He made Thor better in Thor 1, so he became worthy of Mjolnir. And in Thor 2, made Thor better again.
Well, he essentially created the Avengers.
He created the Avengers in Avengers. So,
which is true to the comic books. Loki is the one that caused the Avengers to become a team.
Really?
Oh, thanks, Loki.
Okay.
All right.
Wasn't sure
He
about
should
that.
be praised then.
Well, like the only one I know about is the Earth Mightiest Hero cartoon.
Which was not what happened. It was Graviton.
Oh, they need to put him actually in the MCU. Not that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff they did.
Right.
Like, use him in the MCU. That would probably be pretty cool. That's a hard feeling. How do you beat someone that controls gravity?
Be very... Oh, no. Never mind.
Well, no, they got Captain Marvel now.
They got Captain Marvel now.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
Flies through it. So, yeah, that was messed up. But I did like, again, the character growth they gave Loki. The first time, especially when he's in denial, going over everything. But you can see how much he actually cares about Frigga when he sees her die.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he goes back and he looks at his life.
You always knew he loved his mama.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I think to see it again, like, it's like, he loved his mother. But then for him to see himself basically getting her killed, like, I think that has a whole nother impact on him,
I would say so.
So, like you're watching it on TV, like, your actions caused this.
Yeah.
That would make me feel bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, because up until that point, he didn't know that he was the reason on why she died.
Well, she wasn't dead to him. Because this was Avengers Loki.
He didn't know.
Oh, yeah, also that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that didn't happen yet, so he didn't know.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's double.
That's messed up.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Can
That's
you imagine
true.
watching
Yeah,
your
do that,
life
man.
and then realize, like, man, my life sucks, and then I just die?
Yeah, then I get my neck snapped by Thanos.
My neck.
Hey,
Get my neck
That
snapped.
too.
my neck snapped. You're knacking your neck, okay?
My neck was snapped. That sounds like something completely different. But go on.
But also when he went back to look at the rest of his life, you saw how much he actually cared about everybody else too. Seeing Odin die as well after Odin said, my sons. Which in Thor Ragnarok, you saw that in Loki too. Like, he was like, like, wow, okay, he called me his son.
Yes, Odin cares, even if though he's a bad father.
He's a horrible father. Just really bad. Don't be like Odin.
I don't think Odin was a horrible father, honestly.
2/3 of his children were villains.
Okay,
And then the other child was horrible until he died.
Can't control what your children do, though. You teach them, and then, they grow up. And
He obviously was doing a bad job.
I mean, not necessarily. I feel like
but when
parents
two
make mistakes.
But when two of your kids become like world conquering villains, like
What's
one,
wrong? I mean,
one was so awful he had
should
to
be
lock
proud.
her away.
Yeah, he had to lock her away.
Okay, that one went left. She obviously had some drug issues, but I feel like if my kids, like, I raise them best I can, and they end up turning into villains, whether it be majority of them or not, I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I did what I could do, but something else out there piqued their interest more.
Okay, you're right. You can't control your kids' actions, but I feel like Odin himself, his kids aren't evil because of him.
Okay, what did he do specifically that made but pushed
Look
him
at
evil?
Thor before the end of Thor 1.
What?
He was horrible.
Okay,
He
He
was.
went and tried to start a war.
who made him spoiled?
But he was also
Okay.
trying to make him worthy of the hammer.
But think about it. Okay, he told both Thor and Loki, "You're both kings," but only one of them can be king. And since Loki wasn't his child, Loki never had that chance.
Yeah.
Yet you kept feeding that into his head.
Yeah, which is why he's the way he is now.
If you got a kid that's your blood and a kid that you adopted, you don't want to
Okay,
keep
not
telling
only-
him like, "Hey, you ain't gonna be as good."
Not
as
only were
You didn't say
2/3,
not as good, but you told me he can't be king because he can't be king.
Well, he could.
Yeah.
and
He
then
can change the rules if he wants to.
not only were 2/3 of his kids villains, 2/3 of his kids had to be banished.
That's perfect.
If you gotta continuously banish your children from your
Right.
kingdom,
And then him and his daughter was like conquering universes together. That's not cool. And then he's like, "Oh, she likes being evil too much. I need to put her away."
Was that evil though? Them conquering universes, or
well, that's why he banished her.
Why did he banish her?
She wanted to continue. Like, he was conquering universes that was causing trouble to Asgard.
So he
Then
says,
it was just like,
Yeah, right.
true. That's very true.
Okay.
And then
I'll blame him for that.
when he says enough is enough, she like, no, we need to take over more universes. So it's just like, okay, you had her on this conquering rant, and then now it's just like, all right, we're done. And she's like, no, there's more universes to take over.
But it's like, if I gave my daughter ice cream for dinner every night, we were just picking out some ice cream. I was like, you know what, all right, enough is enough. She's like, no, there's still more ice cream out there that I want. Okay.
But wouldn't that be your
No.
fault though? Because you gave her
That
ice cream.
was
every
definitely
day.
be your
But
fault.
now we're trying to turn back here.
Right, yeah.
And correct
No, that's
You
not even
created
equivalent.
a monster.
No,
And-
the equivalent is
Possibly.
you give her so much ice cream that she becomes 400 pounds, and then you're like, oh, well, you shouldn't do this. You got to turn around. And it's like, who made her that way?
You start throwing broccoli at her. See if that works. But I mean, kids love ice cream. Give them what they want.
All right. Well, don't
Be a
be.
bad father, right?
Don't.
Obviously, we see
If
what
you-
his daughter
if you're
eats
using
for dinner
Odin as
every
an
day.
I'm just saying, I just don't think he was horrible. I'm like, all right, he made some bad choices. I don't think it was horrible.
So yeah, that, and then Loki got to see like his relationship with Thor and stuff. What was interesting, the way they framed his death, like when he died, obviously he was talking to Thanos, but when he had that line, "You'll never be a god," they framed it as if it was his future self talking to his past self. "You'll never be a god," because you remember, like, he was calling himself a god throughout the show all the way up until then. And I felt like it was kind of like him talking to himself, which I thought was pretty good.
Was that intentional, or you just felt like that was?
No, I think that was intentional.
It could be. It could be his realization that, like, he doesn't accomplish what he planned to.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't happen.
Well, yeah, he kind of never does. He came down to Earth to conquer it. Didn't happen. What else did he do? The second one.
He tried to rule Asgard, which he did for a little bit, but
For a
failed
little bit, yeah, that failed.
miserably
Ultimately,
at it.
failed.
Yeah, but was the failure on him though?
Yeah, since he
No.
was supposed to be watching the other realms,
Oh
and
yeah,
he just let
wasn't
Thanos
paying
Yeah, true.
attention.
create the Infinity
True.
Gauntlet.
True. Okay. Right. Good enough. He
True.
wasn't paying attention.
Also, let Thanos get the Power Stone from Xandar.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I feel like Asgard been slipping on a lot of stuff even before Loki was around.
They probably were. They
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
were. It's a lot going on up there. So, okay.
one other interesting point: the Infinity Stones
Means nothing.
means nothing. I was like, if there's one way to just like make Phase 4 different from the Infinity Saga, is to put like all these Infinity Stones here, and you really felt it when Loki saw all the Infinity Stones in the drawer, and they're like, "Yeah, we use these as paperweights."
What?
And he's just
Yeah.
like, "This like we
Yeah.
were
That's
afraid
gotta
of
hurt your
these."
feelings. Yeah, that has to hurt your
Well, you
feelings.
feel like he spent so much time trying to, get this one thing, and then it means nothing.
Yeah,
Well, there at least. There it means
Yeah.
nothing. So,
Yeah.
now do his powers don't work. They say, like, their powers don't work there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It's pretty hopeless at that point.
yeah. And I guess he's right. What's an Infinity Stone if you got time travel? Isn't it what the Avengers did? Like we can just go back.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, they don't need it. I mean, apparently they can just hop to wherever and just, vaporize people.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it works too.
So yeah, that was it was some interesting stuff in here. Plus I felt like what's his name? Mobius. He and Loki did well, like, together. I felt like the acting was really good.
Yeah, I think there's some good chemistry between those two. Owen Williams, to me,
Wilson.
yes.
Williams.
That's not a person. That's nobody.
There's someone out there named Owen Williams.
There is.
They're listening and they're like, I am a person.
I do exist.
I apologize to all the. I will apologize to all the Owen Williamsons out there.
That's a different one. Owen Williams, Owen Williamson.
Both of them.
Okay, both families. Sorry.
My bad. I thought Owen Wilson did a good job.
I didn't realize that was him until I was like, wait a minute. I recognize the nose.
Yeah.
That nose it's a family nose.
Very distinctive.
It's a bit different acting for him. It's not like what you used to seeing him do.
He do like comedy.
I mean, this is still kind of a comedy, but like
different than his normal.
Yeah,
his character was definitely like a lot more serious than any other character I've ever seen play. So different hair too. Mm-hmm. The hair was a little weird on him.
Yeah, you're used to the long hair on Owen Wilson.
Yeah, that haircut is not the business.
Yeah,
no?
I was not feeling it.
You're not feeling it?
Nah.
I feel like they could have just went ahead and gave him his long hair. Like, just give him the long hair.
No, that don't work. You can give this character
I don't know, but did they
hair.
have to give him a best cuts haircut?
No. All right, now you just insulted
Shout out Best Cuts.
the makeup and hair person that worked on this show.
I mean,
you straight just insulted them.
I feel like it's intentionally a bad haircut. Like they let's give him. You don't think so? You think?
But why though? What would that do for them?
I don't know, because to make him look like the comic book character.
The comic book character has a bad haircut.
I don't know.
I think so.
Maybe you looked at him.
I don't know. He's kind of beige in the comic book. I'm not really sure.
They're supposed to be because they're all bureaucrats. So it's like
bureaucrats are beige.
Basic.
Oh,
no, I did say he's beige in the comic book.
And I said I was taking that as basic. You know, beige is a plain color.
Plain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
I didn't. But okay.
It's all right.
So I think they did that on purpose.
Okay.
I don't like the haircut.
I didn't do that. It was horrible. I almost couldn't focus on the show because of that haircut.
What?
Oh, wow.
All right. So what did y'all think of the TVA? Like, we got to look at it with just everything. It seems like it goes on forever.
I think they're jerks.
I find it interesting that there's this group, like, behind the scenes controlling things.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Like, and then I just think it's like, who you chose this timeline, and then you let Thanos happen. Like, why is this the sacred timeline?
Yeah, like what is up with that? Like all the terrible things that Thanos.
Well, because he said that that had to happen for the Avengers to go to the next step.
Yeah, I just feel like, no, the timekeepers are a bunch of jerks, and they're just like, oh, yeah, sure, we'll take this one over. Like, you know,
yeah,
like they just decided that this is supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Which is, that's what I'm saying. Like, who gives you the power to decide that this is what happens?
Yeah.
And then how do they work with the internal people?
They would be stronger than the Eternals, right? If you exist outside of time and you're controlling, like, they're stronger than everybody.
Mm. Yeah. Well, maybe this is time for Derek to explain the timekeepers to us.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Derek.
Okay. All right. So, you know, any confusion of not understanding fully about the timekeepers. In the Marvel Encyclopedia, the timekeepers were created by, and this is his name, He Who Remains.
Yes.
He Who Remains?
Yes.
Are they going to finish that sentence?
No.
Like,
no, he's He Who Remains. He's the one.
Yeah, that's his name.
That remained after
Remains.
nothing happened.
See, this is the things that makes me like, I'm glad I don't read comic books.
So he is the first chairman of the TVA to replace time twisters who were said to be more flawed than the timekeepers.
Uh-huh.
And then it says the timekeepers were quite protective of themselves and at some point tried to kill the Avengers because they kept meddling in their affairs and controlling time.
Oh, we should get that movie.
And
with the timekeepers
The
trying to
Avengers
kill the Avengers
versus the Timekeepers?
Maybe that's somewhere where we're headed in Phase 4 because we are getting King the Conqueror.
well,
which
I
is
feel
about
like
time.
we
We
are.
got a well.
No?
I feel like we are leading to something like that because only people who can interfere with time is Nexus beings. And then they gave a list of people who are Nexus beings.
They
And
mentioned
we
something
already
about
know
Nexus
one
this
of them
episode.
It's the Nexus event.
is Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
So we already know Kang the Conqueror is another Nexus being. And Jean Grey is a Nexus being.
She
And
doesn't
Franklin
exist.
Richard is a
He also
Nexus
doesn't
being.
exist.
Okay, so we know for sure that we're getting Kang the Conqueror, right?
Yeah, he's in the next
Yes.
Ant-Man movie.
And so I think Feige said that this movie would directly relate with Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. I'm sorry, this TV show.
This show. Here's the thing. We're also know now. We thought WandaVision was going to give us a multiverse, right? And no, it didn't. I feel like this show is going to end with something happening to the timeline, or at least explaining what might happen to the timeline. Because remember, they're trying to prevent a multiverse, which we know we're going to get because Doctor Strange is literally called Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness, right.
And we know that Spider-Man's going to have something to do with a multiverse. So either this show ends in a multiverse split, it might not. And the only reason I say that is because they say you don't have to watch the shows to understand the movies.
But
Correct.
if it doesn't, how do we get the multiverse?
Maybe
And-
Wanda does something in Doctor Strange. But no, Spider-Man comes out before Doctor Strange, so I don't know.
But if you're a casual viewer, you don't even understand Scarlet Witch being the Nexus being without watching Wanda.
They could just say she is, because I still don't understand
Yeah.
this Nexus being thing, so it's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to focus on the Nexus Bing thing. Just like she created a multiverse. She's in the Doctor Strange movies, so like it's not hard for them to just say she did.
Yeah, and then
in
to
the
say
movie.
that she's not affected by time, you could just say that. That's fine.
Yeah. Or she caused it. Like Doctor Strange can easily just be like, what you're doing.
You did it.
You're causing a multiversal split. Boom, one line, and we all understand.
Yep, I agree.
So,
Right, but they call the split of the times a Nexus.
yeah, each time it splits is a Nexus event.
But they can re-explain
Yeah.
it in a movie with a sentence.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, I don't think it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Because I feel like that is important. You don't want to have your whole series to be like you have to have Disney Plus and you have to watch all these TV shows as well. Like the movies have to be able to stand alone. And then someone explained it well on YouTube. It's like the Civil War arc in the comic book, right? You can read Civil War and you get a full story. But there's also side comics that tie in that you don't have to read in order to understand the story, but you can read it for extra content.
True.
So the
That
TV
is
show
very
should
true.
just be extra content.
That is a good concept.
Up until
That's
they
a
get to
good
that
concept.
point,
That makes sense.
like how the MCU did, where how like after Civil War, if you didn't see Civil War, they didn't care. 'Cause they felt like you were all aboard that train by that point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the movies have to, like, I think by this point, if you don't understand in the MCU that you have to watch most of the movies at least, or at least get yourself the synopsis of the movie you missed. Yeah, I mean, especially with the group movies.
Yeah.
You know. But I still think a lot of their standalone stuff stands alone pretty well.
I would say up until Civil War, because if you don't watch Civil War, then you come into Infinity War like, well, why aren't they all together?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about like the standalone. Like Black Panther, you can watch that without.
Oh yeah. No, the
technically watching anything
standalones.
else.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
standalones are fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's mostly the
Yeah.
group movies because the beginning of Infinity War, I didn't get it because I didn't watch Thor.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
That's how Ragnarok
Yeah.
ended,
Thor
Yeah.
definitely ends right up against.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't do that.
No. If it's a group movie, no, yeah.
You just didn't watch Thor. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Ooh.
No, I feel like, or you should have at least got a synopsis on what happened in Thor.
No one said, "Oh, hey, the end of Thor is going to affect the beginning of Infinity War."
Well, nobody had to say that. If you would have watched Thor, you would have known.
Well, I mean, yeah, because you don't want to have to re-explain all the other smaller movies.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe don't start with one movie ends, especially if that other movie's Thor.
It was a good movie.
It was good. I like Ragnarok.
Yeah. So, I feel like it's going to explain probably what's going to happen. So, like, if you're someone who watches Doctor Strange or you see Spider-Man and they explain like this multiverse thing, and you've seen Loki, you can be like, "Oh yeah," you know. And I feel like that's how this show's going to set it up for us. So it's kind of going to give us like a sneak peek into that.
That's what.
But I feel like I should change my name to He Who Remains.
No.
Yeah, don't do that.
Nope.
Bad idea.
Deny it. Deny it. No. He who remains.
You become he who is no more.
Yeah.
Put that on my tombstone. He who is no more.
He who did not remain.
Here lie his remains.
Ew.
He who became remains.
Endless possibilities.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
All
it
right,
is.
that's basically all that happened in the show. I mean, we had a lot of funny moments, but basically Loki came to a realization. They put him through a speed arc to catch him back up to basically the person he kind of was in Endgame. And yeah, now we know that they're looking for another Loki, which I know who that Loki is, but I guess you guys don't.
No, we don't.
I have no idea.
All right. We still won't spoil that. I think we're going to run into a bunch of Lokis in this series, though.
I think so too.
Different times.
Different timelines, yeah.
Played by different people?
Not all of them. At least one of them is a different person.
This doesn't make any sense to me.
Does
he look like Loki?
I can't even really go into that. If you guys don't know, I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, fine. Don't spoil it.
I mean, because it might be an interesting turn of events for you guys.
I'm going to be really mad if it's not interesting.
Right.
Like, you may as well wait, and it's not even interesting.
Right. Prepare
Well,
for
that's not me.
I could have thought of that.
Maybe it's not. Maybe
prepare
it's not.
for an angry group message when it turns out to be nothing.
Prepare for an angry visit. I'm going to show up.
They were in the trailers.
What
But,
trailers?
okay. Anyhow, but yeah, it seemed like multiple Lokis in the trailer, right? Because you had that one Loki that had the vote for Loki for president, that deal, which is also from the comics.
See, I thought that was because you know how kind of like this DB Cooper thing just end up him just being DB Cooper because of a bet with Thor.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like probably one of those other things like, oh, he occasionally just went down to Earth, played around a little bit, and then went back to Asgard.
No, I think someone saw one of those scenes in the trailer breakdown, and in that scene you had the TVA Loki was there and the President Loki was there.
Okay.
Like the TVA Loki had the TVA stuff on, and you can tell he was in the same area. So, but Loki can also change his appearance, so I don't know.
Yeah, he is
Like
the master of illusion, so he can cast illusions of himself and other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I guess the prevailing thought is that they're going to be different Lokis that we're running into throughout the series. But anyhow, the basic plot is that there's someone killing the TVA agents and stealing their reset charges to reset timelines. What do you think their plan is? Destroy the entire timeline?
Gotta be. What else can they do?
Either that or they just
get rid of the whole TVA
Get rid
and
of the
using their
TVA?
weapons against them, and then they'd be able to control time themselves.
Yeah, I think they ultimately want control.
Mm.
I mean, you do that, you can do almost anything.
If it's a Loki, yeah, definitely, right?
Huh?
Well, how
Yep.
like Loki wants to be ruling, and how much higher can you go than the person that controls time?
Wouldn't it just be Kang the Conqueror then?
Kang does not control time.
He just travels through time.
He travels through time. He's definitely
But if
like
you control time, can't you control him then?
Kang.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
control time and he travels through time, it's like, all right, now
I
control
guess. I don't know. This stuff's starting to get confusing.
This is why I hate stuff about time travel, because it gets to a point where it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But Kang's
Very
got the
true.
technology.
Yeah.
Kang, I don't know if they're going to do that. Probably not, because the actor that's playing him. But Kang isn't he another descendant of Reed Richards?
I thought it was Tony Stark.
Or is it Tony
I
Stark?
believe so. I'm about to look
Is it
it up
descendant
right
of Tony
now.
Stark?
I thought it was Tony Stark.
It might be. It's one of them. So he's
Reed
a...
Stark or Tony Richards.
But
Tony Richards?
Tony did have a kid, so it could still be a descendant of Tony Stark.
Let's not do that. That sounds like
No, it's descendant of Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. Okay.
Reed Richards.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
Nathaniel
technology he used is the history of Tony Stark technology throughout time.
Richards. Our Tony Stark has already made time travel technology.
I think
Yeah,
I watched
so-
these episodes on that cartoon.
So
became
it's
the
the
controller?
technology he using is Tony Stark technology from the future, and he's a
Okay.
descendant of Reed Richards.
Aha.
Interesting. We are getting
Yes.
Fantastic Four. That is solidified. So they
Yay.
could still do that.
Yes.
Hooray.
You know, I'm like, you already know how I felt about that. So
Yeah.
I will be excited if we get my boy John Krasinski.
is that gonna make the movie good?
Yes. Well, it's
What?
Marvel. They could do a good job, guys. Come
so
on.
you say?
I think they will.
They better, man. 'Cause I'm like,
They've had a lot of
y'all
cracks
have,
at Fantastic
y'all
Four.
made a lot of mistakes to learn from.
They know all the ways of how not to
do
make
it.
it.
I mean,
That's not
because honestly, I understand you can't have Doctor Doom without Fantastic Four,
Don't
but
do
it's like
that.
I
Don't
really
do it.
You
want
have to.
a really good Doctor Doom. Like I
Do
feel
you?
like he's a good villain.
Do it
He
separately.
is. He
I feel
is.
like they're not going to do their origin.
No, absolutely not.
No,
You can't.
no, I think it's gonna be like, Spider-Man. It's
So-
like they're gonna appear in a movie and then boom, Fantastic Four.
So in the sense, I feel like they're also don't have to put Doctor Doom in that movie. If it's not their origin, Doctor Doom doesn't have to be in the movie.
No, I'm not saying putting him in
Oh,
a
I
Fantastic
don't
Four
want
movie.
him in the movie. I just want him in the universe. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he's
Oh,
a real good
100%.
villain.
If we got Doctor Doom without the Fantastic Four, I am all for it. Doctor Doom,
We're willing to sacrifice the Fantastic.
like 100%. Doctor Doom, like I want that very.
Yes.
Give me look movie idea. I'm not even going to go through like a synopsis or plot or anything. Just title the movie Latveria. Everybody would go crazy. 100%.
Yeah. But I have a feeling though he's gonna come from Sokovia.
No, we've had
Since
enough
that's all-
Sokovia.
Everyone comes from there.
I mean, we got Wanda and
Everyone's coming
Pietro.
from there.
Everybody.
Well, no, because they're starting to introduce other cities now, since they have the whole Marvel
Magna-
now.
Oh yeah, like
Since they
Magna
introduced
Force.
that made up city that I had to
Magna
realize
Force.
wasn't real.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a fake.
It does
Hong
sound
Kong,
like a real
but
city.
yeah.
It sounded like a real city. I'm like, man, this must be in Asia somewhere.
It is.
Yeah, well, I
It
thought was
is.
real.
in
Like, man, I wonder
in
where
in
that's
the
at.
Marvel universe.
Uh,
I'm gonna go there one day.
yeah, but no, I don't think there's no reason to not do Latveria.
Well, I'm saying they can now.
Yeah.
So they can do that, and then that place Magneto always hangs out at.
Oh, the Savage Land.
I was not the Savage Land. What's the place on
Genosha?
Genosha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about the mutants a lot. I still wonder how they're going to do that. Multiverse?
I mean, why not? The multiverse is doing everything else.
I feel like, I don't know.
About the multiverse right now.
I feel like it's not satisfying. I know some people are like, oh yeah, do that and you bring them in. I feel like it's unsatisfying if it's just like, and they came through this multiverse portal, mutants. You know, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of hard. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying, like, I think, like, saying that how Thanos snap unlocks people's ability when they came back. I mean, to me, that makes sense.
You already established that with Monica Rambeau.
Well, I'm saying, like, her coming in and out of the hexagon thing gave her powers. So you can have that by Wanda destroying it. That could have activated powers in people. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to do it. I mean, I'm not mad at the multiverse being something that also creates it.
I would rather they start from the beginning of mutants than go back and then have this alternate history and then all of a sudden they're part of the main timeline.
My problem with starting with the beginning of mutants is the X-Men, and I know all mutants aren't part of X-Men, but there's such a rich history with the mutants. Yeah. If you start at the beginning, then you're missing a lot of history that you can't have.
I think, and people might be mad about this, I think you just don't do Professor X and Magneto.
Well, even without Professor X and Magneto, I feel like there's still a lot of background and a lot of characters that you're not going to get if they just, like, show up.
I think so.
Yeah. But, I mean, my only thing is about that is when we're talking about mutants, how can you have mutants without Professor X, Magneto, and Wolverine?
You can. Like, you can't have the X-Men.
Yeah, you can't. Without Professor X, you can't have the X-Men.
So you can.
But he's never said X-Men. Kevin Feige, when it's like, oh, we don't have time to talk about the mutants. Like they will not mention X-Men.
If you never create the X-Men, then you can very well do mutants without those three. Like, I'm fine if we never get Wolverine. I mean, I would love it, but it's not critical.
Yeah.
And I would also love if we got other mutants. Like, I want Gambit. I want a real Rogue. I would love to have Storm that was better than the trash she was in all those other movies.
Oh my God, can we get Storm in Black Panther? I know we don't have T'Challa Black Panther anymore, but like I still want her.
I think they were leading to that idea, but now that he's gone,
you can still have her. We don't need the.
I think she would still be there, but I think they were going to go somewhere with Black Panther and Storm being together, though.
Okay. Are we? Before I go on another tangent, everybody had their ideas for the Loki TV show?
Oh.
Okay.
We did go on a tangent.
So I think we should give our overall, not the show's rating, but what we think
for the episode.
For the episode.
Well, at least with the first episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would give it. I would go with. Oh, go ahead.
So I would give it like an I pay for that. I actually, opposite of Dahlia here, I feel like I'm going to like this show better than the other two.
For me, starting off is definitely a watch while folding clothes. I feel like that will probably change as I continue to watch it. But right now, I like WandaVision better, for sure.
All right, Derek.
Okay.
I would go with I will pay for that. I feel like with the first episode, it's neck to neck with WandaVision right now. Deep down, I feel like it might end up being better, but I mean, I could be wrong. Since we're only one episode in, but right now, I feel like it's neck to neck.
Yeah, since we're only one episode in, it's like I don't really want to compare it to the other ones because we got full series on the other ones, so I don't really want to say. But just focusing on this episode, I say I paid for that because it caught my attention. I didn't look away, and I watched it twice. So
see, there you go.
Yeah, I like the fact that it comes on Wednesday because you are able to watch it twice before we do our reviews.
Well, we could do our frame by frame breakdown.
I don't have that much time.
Get those good old YouTube views.
Watch the whole episode in slow motion.
Yeah.
That would be
Quarter speed. Okay, so we were talking about the mutants.
Yes.
I forgot the point that I was going to bring up now.
Okay. I mean, because we were talking about how I wanted to see Storm and Gambit and all of that.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Did y'all...
Storm and T'Challa's relationship? And...
Yeah. Did y'all see that apparently Namor has been cast for Black Panther?
Told you guys. I told you guys Namor was going to be in it.
Well, we all agree we wanted that.
Yeah. Now, I'm not 100% on it. Like, I think it's a pretty good that Namor's going to be in the movie. I'm not 100% on whether the actor they have there is Namor or not. They say he could be playing Namor. But
okay, so we know this guy's in a movie, and we're speculating he's going to be Namor.
I think it's more of people are more sure that Namor is in this movie, and since they know that, they're speculating whether this person is playing Namor.
That he's going to play.
Who is this person?
I don't know who he is. I've never heard of him or seen him.
I wanted to be like, I need to let me hit up the IMDb.
But it is
can we go?
I think he's black. If he's not, he's at least a minority.
What is his name?
I don't know.
That was not important for me.
Well, I thought it was interesting because Namor generally has lighter skin in the comics. And I was like, oh, but if it's a Black Panther comic, I was like, or movie, I'm like, oh yeah, that could still, working in. Plus, he's Atlantean, so kind of doesn't matter.
Yes, and Namor is a mutant.
Yes.
So it was like, so unlike, Aquaman, half Atlantean, half human, even though he is, but he's that way because he's a mutant.
Right. Isn't Namor the only Atlantean that can breathe in air?
Because he's half human, isn't he? He's basically just
Aquaman is half human. Namor is a mutant. I don't know.
So why is it that he's the only one that can do it?
Because he's a mutant?
Because he's a mutant?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes.
I gotta look that up. I just remember that cartoon. Remember that cartoon we had with Submariner?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up for y'all now. But I do know that Atlanteans in DC with Aquaman,
something I can't pronounce,
they can breathe in water and outside of water. I don't think.
Aquaman's the only one that can breathe outside of water. They showed that in the Aquaman movie because they all needed
yeah. Aquaman's the only one that can do it
because they had diving suits for being on the land.
Oh right, yeah, okay,
yeah,
you are correct.
Crazy.
Okay, Namor is half Atlantean, half
Atlantean,
Atlantean,
right? Antillarian,
and mutant.
Okay, he's both. What's his mutant power then?
Strong.
The ability to strong.
All right, because I figured his powers fit what you would think an Atlantean in general is, right? Because they generally make him stronger because they live underwater and faster.
Right. Yeah, I just think he's just strong and mean.
Yeah,
he's very mean. He's kind of a jerk.
He's a douche.
And he wants to get it on with Susan Richards.
Sue Richards. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess that's fine.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
his father was a sea captain that had the mutant gene.
I told you he was half human. You guys need to start listening to me.
Okay, coming from the person that didn't read comics.
But I'd be right.
Yes. And he is listed as a anti-hero.
Yeah, because sometimes he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
he looks out for
the Wakandans.
He looks out for the well-being of his people first.
Mm-hmm.
Which that wouldn't make him a bad guy.
No, I get that. I mean,
For the people on the surface, it does.
yeah, but we're destroying the oceans.
Yeah, I mean,
Ocean smotion.
who needs water?
Water smarter. Okay, yeah. See how long you live.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So that's some of the information that is coming up. It's going to be an exciting Phase 4, I think. Finally getting our first movie next month. We're going to be checking that out. Black Widow finally coming out. So
yeah,
make sure you guys tune in to our review of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's
Be
going to be
on
dope.
the lookout.
Yep. And of course, like we did with the other shows, we'll be discussing Loki as each episode comes out. So, if
we can't discuss it until the episode comes out.
So stay tuned to 3D Rivals for more talks on Loki. But what do you think is going to happen with the timeline? Let us know in the comments wherever you're watching or listening. You can reach out to us at Gmail. It's 3drivals@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook. It's facebook.com/3drivals. And you can tweet at us as well at 3_rivals. Other than that, thank you guys for listening and watching. We appreciate it. Peace out.